Somewhere right now, a package with your name on it is sitting inside a building the size of 20 football fields. Amazon doesn't own that building. And they don't own most of them, actually. Amazon runs more than 350 big fulfillment centers around the world. Add in the sorting facilities and the delivery stations, and you're looking at over 1,300 buildings total. Out of all that, Amazon owns a little over 8 million square feet outright. That's it. Everything else, basically all the space your Prime order actually moves through, belongs to somebody else. So who owns the building your package just came out of? Most of the time, it's a company called Prologis. You've probably never heard of it. Prologis owns and manages 1.3 billion square feet of industrial real estate worldwide. That's more space than the entire island of Manhattan, several times over. It's the biggest industrial landlord on the planet, and its three biggest tenants are Amazon, FedEx, and Home Depot. Here's why that's the setup, and it comes down to one simple thing. Leasing beats building, every time, when speed is what matters. Think about what it actually takes to put up a fulfillment center from nothing. You need the land, the permits, the construction, the power hookups, the robotics installed and tested. That's years, not months. But signing a lease? That takes weeks. So when Amazon needs a new region covered, or needs more capacity before the holidays hit, or just needs to rearrange its network because delivery got faster overnight, it can't sit around waiting 2 years for a building. It doesn't build. It leases from someone who already has the building standing there, ready to go. And this isn't some Amazon-only trick. Look at Home Depot's own filings. 97% of their distribution and fulfillment centers are leased, not owned. That's over 100 million square feet, more than 500 buildings. Foot Locker leases 6 out of its 8 distribution centers. This is just how big retail and e-commerce work now. Owning is slow, leasing is fast, and fast is the whole business. So that's why a company like Prologis exists in the first place. It's what's called a REIT, a real estate investment trust. The whole point of a REIT is to own a lot of property and collect rent on it. By law, they have to hand over at least 90% of their taxable income to shareholders every year. In return, they skip corporate tax. That's the deal. Own the building, collect the check, pass almost all of it straight through. Prologis will sometimes put up a warehouse before it even has a tenant lined up. It's a bet. This area is growing, e-commerce demand is rising here, somebody's going to need 1 million square feet in the next year or two, so they build it anyway. If Amazon signs on for 10 years, Prologis just locked in a decade of rent. If Amazon walks away, Prologis still owns a building it can lease to whoever's next. And in most big markets, there's always a whoever's next. Amazon isn't even Prologis' only story here. There's another industrial REIT, ICT Exeter, and Amazon alone makes up 64% of their entire portfolio's rental income. Think about that. A real estate company whose financial health basically rides on decisions made inside Amazon's logistics department, and Amazon's name never once shows up on a property deed. Most of these leases are also what's called triple net. That means the tenant, Amazon, Home Depot, whoever, pays the rent, and also the property taxes, and also the insurance, and also the maintenance. The landlord's job shrinks down to almost nothing. Own it, collect the check, let the tenant handle the rest. Add in a clause that bumps the rent up a fixed percent every year, and you've basically got one of the closest things to free money in commercial real estate. That's also why these companies almost never sell a building once it's performing well. It's not just this year's rent. It's a growing, predictable stream of rent for years, backed by a tenant that isn't going anywhere. Wall Street prices REIT stock partly on exactly that predictability. So the building your package came out of isn't just paying Prologis' bills. It's a line on a spreadsheet that makes Prologis stock look better to hold. Here's the part that's honestly a little strange, though. These buildings keep changing hands. Last year, Amazon signed a lease on a 615,000 square foot warehouse in Commerce, California. Prologis owns it. But that building used to belong to 99-cents only stores before the chain went bankrupt in 2024 and moved out. Amazon didn't build anything new. It just moved into somebody else's old building and retrofitted it. And that kind of churn happens constantly. Amazon keeps shifting toward newer, better buildings. Higher ceilings, more power, layouts built for robots instead of people walking around picking items by hand. And that's not a small detail. A modern fulfillment center built around robotics can process orders a lot faster than an older building ever could, just because the whole layout's designed for machines moving inventory instead of a person walking the length of a football field to grab one item off a shelf. So Amazon walks away from the older sites. It's closed facilities in Nevada, in the Bay Area. Not because business dropped, but because a better building opened up somewhere else. The landlord's left holding the old one, usually releasing it to some other logistics company, sometimes after a renovation to bring it up to modern spec. The building doesn't go anywhere. It just gets a new lease, maybe a new tenant, maybe new shelving and new dock doors. The ownership underneath never moves at all. Not every warehouse plays by the same rules, though. There's one category where all of this gets even more intense. The small stuff. The buildings closest to where you actually live. They're called last-mile delivery stations, and they're a completely different animal from the giant regional fulfillment centers. A huge warehouse 60 miles outside the city can store plenty of inventory, but it can't get a package to your door same day. Only something within, say, 15 to 30 miles of a dense population center can pull that off. And that narrow radius creates a weird kind of scarcity. Suddenly, the most valuable industrial land in the country is sitting inside cities and inner suburbs, fighting for space against housing, retail, offices, everything. You can't just build more of that land. Zoning gets in the way, prices are high, and the few sites that actually qualify are, by definition, already surrounded by everything else a growing city wants. So you end up with a shortage exactly where demand is highest. Small logistics buildings, under 50,000 square feet, are sitting at under 5% vacancy right now. That's the tightest corner of the entire industrial real estate market, while regular bulk warehouse space nationally is closer to 7%. These buildings don't even work the same way inside. A typical bulk warehouse might have one loading dock per 10,000 square feet. A last mile station runs 2 to 4 times that. It's not storing pallets for weeks. It's running thousands of packages through in a matter of hours, sorted by neighborhood, loaded onto vans, gone. Amazon's put around $4 billion into expanding this network, aiming to triple the number of these stations. Small buildings going up in places like Weatherford, Oklahoma, and Davenport, Iowa, each one doing one very specific job in one very specific spot. Seabree thinks last-mile leasing is going to make up more than 20% of all industrial leasing by the end of this year. That's a real chunk of an entire asset class built around exactly one thing. Not size, not price per square foot, just how close it sits to the people ordering the packages. And now there's a new wrinkle showing up in 2026. Land that used to be built out almost entirely for warehouses is now competing with a much hungrier tenant: data centers. CoStar, the real estate research firm, expects US data center construction spending to actually pass warehouse construction spending this year. 5 years ago, that would have sounded absurd. Prologis has responded by getting into the data center game itself, sometimes turning warehouse zone land into server farms instead of another distribution hub. The same company that built its empire renting space to businesses moving boxes is now also renting space to businesses storing data, sometimes on the exact same land it once set aside purely for logistics. And none of this is just an American thing, either. Prologis operates in 19 countries. The same landlord-tenant setup plays out in warehouses outside London, distribution hubs in Tokyo, hubs in Mexico City. Different rules, different tenants, same basic model underneath. Wherever e-commerce grows faster than anyone can physically build for it, you tend to see this exact relationship show up. A retailer that needs speed, and a landlord willing to bet on that need before the ink's even dry. So next time a package shows up 2 days after you ordered it, here's what actually happened. It moved through a building Amazon almost certainly doesn't own, in a market where the closest usable land is running out, managed by a company most people have never heard of, betting its entire business on exactly this arrangement. One lease at a time, one tenant's changing needs at a time, in buildings that might belong to someone else's inventory 10 years from now. The box says Amazon. The building says Prologis. And neither one's going to tell you that on the label.